Hello, my name is Dr. George Mochocki, and welcome to Principles of Marketing. This is a supplement to the online class you're taking me, or face-to-face class you're taking me, to the discussion board, to the publisher's material, to the PowerPoint. This is a quick overview, and I use concept maps or mind maps. So it gives you all the main areas of the chapter reading. So you print this out. It comes out into 1 or 2 pages. I think at this one I have it 2 pages. I set up in a PDF file, and it's on the first tier or second tier, and you add on to it. So print it out. It's like a real rough outline, and you add on, write with your own little words, but don't write whole sentences, just key items. So when you're studying for the exams or trying to retain the information, it makes it easier. So I don't want to spend more than 15, 20 minutes on here. This is just a quick summarization. Pricing, what is price? The whole thing in remember, there's a marketing class, so they already came up with, or they're coming up with a price. They're trying to come up with a price for a new product or existing product or service, and so they're going to come up with okay, we know our expenses. How much should we charge for our product or service? This is something that's very critical. If you're new at this, you have to look at your competitor's price. You're looking at the environment, what's going on right now in COVID-19, a semi-lockdown, for lack of a better word. So business is slowing down, but it's coming around. So you have to look at what price scheme you want to use now. And when I'm looking at this, it's kind of touching a little bit on the consumer, how to get my products out there from a marketing perspective. But there's a lot of other things. We're not talking about penetration pricing. We're not talking about promotions. All that affects the price. So whether you have, once you set the price is what the consumer is looking at and saying, this is what the product going to cost me in their mind. If it's real low, they figure it's not that high of a quality. If it's a higher price, they want to say, what do I get for this higher price? Because they're comparing your product by the price to your competitor's product. So if you're doing something, and if they see both items, like my iPhone versus Samsung, I don't see much of a difference. But then I'm looking at the brand name recognition. I'm looking at the what do you call it? The warranty, the guarantee, the different apps, the different usability. All that is inclusive in the price. But that's what I'm comparing them. All right, and I'm looking at it from how do I set my initial price. Okay, so that's price is very important. So when I'm looking at pricing, is what I want to price for my product. So if I have a higher price, I give more value or perceive, it's marketing class, perceived value, then I could charge a little bit higher. Okay, now understand the price. And here's a graph that's in the book. Remember, utilize your book. The author has a lot of good graphs and for visual individual. Marketing is a lot of visuals, not always just the audio. Okay, so I'm looking at the product cost. This is what it costs me to do it. I'm looking at my competition and other external factors. What's their pricing strategy? What's their product? If I got a better quality or something, I could charge more. But to the marketing, the integrated marketing campaign that we're talking about, it is the heart of everything for your product to be successful in the communication to the outside of the company and also within the company, so people know here's our focus. So when I'm looking at this, how do I send this message out? Because that's what a customer is looking, the perception of value, no demand, and where do I how much do I price? So right now, here's what see, my competitor may be here, but I'm going to come out here. So I have to, through my integrated marketing campaign, my messages, through PR, personal selling, push the benefits, the value, so customers, clients, even business to business, industrial consumers understand what they're getting for that additional cost. You got to convince them here first. Use it, and that's what it's about. Okay, so we have that, and now I'm going to close this off, and now I'm going to look at value, customer value-based pricing. The value-based pricing, and they got a chart on this. And remember, all this information is in your book. Read it in our discussion. You design a good product, you determine the cost, you set the base on the cost, you convince buyers of the value of the product, and then value-based pricing. Assess the customer's needs and value perception. If you're going to charge me a higher price, and you're targeting me, and I don't see any value in what you're giving me, it's useless. So you have to be able to understand not only the demographics when you look at the marketing, the psychographic, the emotion. What makes me buy? What triggers or emotional levers I should push or expose you to enhance you to look at my product and then to buy. And then when I'm looking at my product, I'm looking at the price. Could I afford it? I like it. It's out of my range. That's when you say, hey, we got a layaway. You would use charge cards. We got discounts. We got coupons. First time buyer, we'll give you 20% off. But open up our charge card. All that is part of pricing. Right now, I'm just giving you a generic overview. Okay? And now, good value pricing is offering for right combination, quality good at a fair price. Nothing different. I'm right in there. I got a good product, but I may be in an area that there's not too much competition. So they'll come to me, and because that's the way I'm setting up. And I'm maybe using that just to understand the customer base, the culture, what makes them buy before I open up other areas, add a little more value, and then start adjusting my pricing up. But I already know. Or you have like Kohl's clothing store, everyday low prices. You're right. Now everyday low prices are all right, but they're always coming down. So every day is the lowest prices. You have to remind the customers how you do it. But you look at suggested prices, so much here, and here's an everyday low price. Oh wow, I got a really good discount. Or here's some kind of sales on there. High low pricing is basically involved charging a customer higher prices. Let me just make this just a touch larger for you. I make it 200. Okay. Even though you have in a book, I'm just overviewing. It involves charging higher prices on an everyday basis, but running a lot of promotions to lower the prices. And some people that works out well. If I need, I get it. But if I know that's what your marketing strategy is or your pricing strategy, I wait till the sale's there, and then I buy it, unless I really need it. Value-added pricing attaches value-added features and services to make your company different from others. Remember, part of marketing is what makes you stand out differently. Price, remember, in marketing, 4 P's: price, product, promotion, and place. Price is a big indicator because price, look, if I'm doing it to commercial customers or industrial customers, I'm selling my component. Price is in there. They don't mind paying me a little bit higher price as long as, because I got to meet my specification. So it's in there. It may not be the first thing on the agenda because they need the specification or quality because it's a component in their product. If I have a high-end product, if I start putting low-end ingredients, for lack of better words, or components in there, my brain is going to go down because those low-end components, I got a good price on them, but they don't last long. So it depends on my product that I'm putting it in there. So price is there, it's there, but it's not the first thing they look at. They look at making my specification. When a consumer looks at price, because that's an indicator. Higher price means I have a higher quality product and I have better service in their mind. In reality, it may not be so. Marketing. Perception. Okay, so now I got cost-based pricing. This is the quickest and easiest way for a lot of business. They had the cost-based pricing. They set basic prices on what it costs me. They look at your fixed costs, and again, your fixed costs, your rent and salaries, unless you're paying the overtime, is all stable, or mortgages and everything else. And your variable cost is like your supply, the materials to make your product or services that could fluctuate on there. But you take those two together and you get your total cost, and then you look at different pricing for different production schedules. Do you see me? So if I'm looking at this, so how much is it going to cost a point per unit? All right. And then I come over here and the cost behavior over different size of the plants. And then here's again, this is just not a graph. Look, I'm just showing you the graphs. Read it, go in there. I'm trying to keep this under 15 minutes. But be aware of what you have to look. So it's different costs at different units. So my prices go back. You got the economies of scale. The more I produce, the better I should be getting it. The better I understand the production, the less waste. When I first start off, my production line may not be aligned. I have to work at operation management. Okay? I just throw that in there. Now, cost plus pricing, I just add on how much I think my benefits are. You'll sell it a certain about the cost. Let me move it over here. Okay, some of the disadvantage. Look, what I as a buyer, price competition is minimized. I don't look at my competitors. I have my costs. I just added my profit margin, what I think I should get in return for my work, my effort, or whatever. But the disadvantage on that, it ignores the demand and competitors' pricing. Remember, you're just now looking at demand for the product. You got the supply and demand. When you break it, the break even, not break even, when the two meet together, that's going to be your market price. That's the price, optimal price that the consumer is going to pay, and it's still the optimal price that will be. The demand is what the consumer wants for my product. Supply is what I have to pay to get my product. When I find that in that intersection, that be down my market price. That's the price the consumers still pay, and they're happy with it. It's fair and everything else, and I'm still making some profitability. If I want it higher than that, they may reduce my demand, but there's more value. But I'm targeting a different demographic. They're willing to pay the higher price for that. Depends how you're branding your product or your store or your services. Okay. So we have that one. The next one I want to look at break-even pricing. When I'm looking at break-even, let me just do, I think I got a chart here. There's a break-even. And break-even is basically, here's how many units, and then when do I make a profit. When I'm on here, I'm not breaking even. That means I got to be selling at 16 bucks, and I got to make at least 50,000 worth of product. The demand 67, and here's my revenue, and here's my total cost. I subtract that, and now I'm making some money. Now again, if I'm making, look at here, make a 25 product given price unit needed to break even at 25,000 units for me to break even. An expected price given. For $22, total of the revenue, total of the cost, I'm losing money. So you could either overprice or underprice it. All I'm trying to do is not to confuse you. Read it, discussion will go into it. I just want you to be looking at it. So be careful with the pricing. Okay? All right, break even. Okay, competition. Now here's where I really like to look at it. Now, if I'm looking at competition-based pricing, you look at competitors. Now, for a long time, Caliper dominates the heavy industry, right? There's a Caliper, but now you have Japanese. You have Yuki. I forget some of the names off brand. They're competing against Caterpillar. What happened with Caterpillar? There was a strong brand, strong product, lasts forever. Customers did not mind paying the price. They went through a union strike and everything else, and people are sabotaging. So then when the Calipers are coming in, some of them are having breakdown issues that hurt the brand. It's coming back up again. So people say there's no strife, no turbo issues with the Caterpillar production workers. So now we have it back. So they're back in there. So now they could charge higher because they know it's a proven product going forward. Okay, versus if we talked about Harley Davidson. They're basically, because it's the American icon, the bike of the American, the low riders, everything else. Their problem was their quality. They always leaked oil, even in the showroom. Never went off on the road, and it still leaked oil when they had it in the showroom. But people still paying for it because the brand image, the name, and everything else. They wanted to have a hog, for lack of better words. Okay, so competition pricing. Competition pricing is what I want to look at. Other consideration you got to look at is look at target costing, organizational consideration within the company. You know, which factor, who you're selling to, certain industry key, airlines, aerospace, steel, railroad. It can be very sensitive. Departments report to marketing. Who can influence pricing? Everyone within your company should be able to say, hey, we could sell it, but I can't produce it. I can't get the material. Or there's too much competition. The accountant says the numbers aren't working out. We're breaking even. Breaking even. We're forecasting. I want a little more cushion, a little more safety stock. Let's consider some of that. So all of this is on here. Okay, so I got target costing. You know what your customers are willing to pay. Okay, now analyzing price-demand relationship, demand curve, shows the number of units the market will buy at a given price. And then these other ones you'll talk about in economics. I just throw it out here so you know. Price elasticity is a measure of sensitivity of demand to change of prices. Inelastic demand, when demand hardly changes with when the demand hardly changes with small price. Okay, elastic when demand changes greatly with small changes. Gasoline prices, they start going up, people start driving less. You know what I mean? Certain things, pricing. Fast foods are suffering right now because of the labor. Everyone's got to pay up to $15, and then when I had to pay that labor, that cost is offset the hamburger. So if I want to go get a hamburger with a Burger King, Wendy's, I try to hit a ball at McDonald's, and I'm paying like $10, $15 for a hamburger, a pop, and some fries, and I'm looking at here $15. I'm just going to go into a sit-down restaurant for that amount. Why should I pay that? So a lot of people, they're very sensitive to how they raise the price. So what do they do? If it's the demand change a lot, they give you the same package but more air and less ingredients inside, or change some of the substitute and use different kind of ingredients to offset that. So the price is very elastic because it's very sensitive. Okay, so are we all right? So I have this. What else do I have? Oh, the other things you have is the economy, economic conditions, resales, response to price, the government, the shutdown, the mandate that we have, social concern about your product, is it environmentally safe. But all those are considered into the pricing scheme. Would I buy an electric car for a price? Fine, but it's kind of high now. But if gasoline prices, the way they're going underneath with this new administration, and they're going up and up, the electric car may be the prices will be equal, because what I got to pay for the electric car, what I got to pay for gas, even though the gasoline car or fossil car is cost less, overall I'm equal, or I get some rebates on that. Okay, so that's all that we have on here. And I'm looking at pricing. Let's take a look at pricing in California. You got to meet certain states. The pricing for cars are higher because they have to have certain pollution standards. Where other states, we're just going to do whatever the government says, the basic standards for air quality. Where California has a higher test, or Detroit may have a higher thing because of pollution there. So they're trying to offset something to minimize the usage of certain types of vehicles using certain types of combustible or non-combustible or renewable energy. The thing you have to think about when I'm looking at cars, electric cars, everyone wants electric car. There's only so many charging stations. Then you have to look what's going on with our structure for electricity and everything else. There's a lot of things. There's some blackout. So that right now, even though I may have to lower my price of electric cars, because consumers are saying, okay, I get an electric car, they're equal, but could I basically get the electricity to charge this? Or am I going to be stuck? And how many charging stations are out there if I'm on the road? Or I know there's a lot of gas stations, even though the prices may be higher. So all this happens. Remember, just to think about pricing. Pricing is a big consideration. It's one of the 4 P's of marketing. You have to be able to understand pricing, whether you're doing to industrial customers or you're doing to consumers. So let me just bring this down to expand to our one level. And then view this, so the last thing you see is everything that we covered. Okay, all right, so we're all set. So remember, this is just a quick overview. There's more different pricing. Take me for retail, merchandise, advertising. We're going to go some chapters on promotion and how do I reduce the price. If you take me or other instructor in finance, they'll also tell you there's different trade discounts depending who you're trying to get. So pricing, you set the major price, tells you what this product is worth, and then all these other things within the marketing or these other strategies reduces the price so customers to like it, to try it, and then if they like it, to try it, and it's a good product compared to the competitors, they're willing to pay that extra cost. The part of marketing is keep on reminding them that why this is a good value. Same thing with your own personal life. You have your significant other. Keep on telling him or her, I'm the best thing that ever happened to you. Tell your boss, you're never going to find an employee like me. You're never going to find an associate like me. I'm creative. And you're just planting those seeds, and that's what marketing does. Planting, and remember, frequency and exposure. You have to keep on reminding the customers, the client, that that you have a good product, and here's what your price is. Same thing. You're a good worker. You're creative, and even though they're paying you more than somebody else's, but look what you have. You're loyal and everything else. Do you see how pricing ties in? Remember, marketing yourself is all part of the same equation. Again, my name's Dr. George Mochocki. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.